I'm going to share my screen here because I think it's such an impactful visual just to see this. So each dot is 3.2 million people, right? And I'm just going to scroll down here. There's 2,500 dots, 8.1 billion humans globally. And if you just look here, all of these dots here are people who have not tried AI at all.
Oh, wow.
Right. And then these people here are people who are free chatbot users. And these people here are people who pay $20 a month. And these people here are using any kind of coding or scaffolding or creating agentic AI or creating content using AI. So, it really puts it into perspective when you think about the market size of what somebody, if you're coming out of school and you are this operator, or you're this somebody who can create agents and create solutions to help a company level up. That's a big deal in this environment. And what that means to me is that if you come in and you're out of school and you're looking for a job, and you say to a company, I can be a catalyst that's going to take your sales calls, for example, and take those Fathom call nodes, or whatever note taker AI is used on those calls, and find out what people are actually looking for, because your sales team is having those conversations, and I can turn that now into something useful. And I can automate, follow-ups, for example, for your sales team, and help you sell better, the closer part. Or if you're an operator and you say, okay, let's look at your operations and see where things are highly repetitive tasks and ways that I can help create efficiency there, that frees up your team's time so they can be more strategic. You're not replacing people. You're just helping them operate more efficiently. Or and what was the other role? Is the operator, the closer,
builder, operator,
and
closer.
Builder.
Yeah,
The builder, right? And this is you. You are the builder in this kind of way, right? You're the person who's coming into the business to say, I will help this business level up their game. And not every company is going to be forward thinking like this. So, but the ones who are, and the ones who are saying, I really do want to be able to level up my game because we are in this moment where these tools are available, then you're going to have a good fit with a new employer who is, has a desire and aspires to grow, but they just don't have the tool set or the people to be able to do that. I think that's where we are in this moment for these new grads.
Allow me to introduce the segue into the second item, which is people who really need the help to integrate AI into their operations are small businesses who have dabbled in AI, but most of them don't really have a sense of how they can optimize it for their workflows and their operation.
Yeah. So Claude, on that note, Claude has introduced Claude for Small Business. And what that is it's a tool set that allows you to plug in your QuickBooks and other apps like that the businesses use in their environment to be able to leverage Claude for Small Business. Now, I'll argue that on the one hand, that's really cool and forward thinking of Claude, and I think that clearly Claude is trying to create this moat where they are integrating themselves into business tools that are being used. On the other hand, I think that it's over the head of a lot of small businesses to say, great, okay, so I connect these apps, now what? Right? Why is this special? Why? And so this catalyst role, this builder role, is such a critical role within a company of somebody who is that feet on the street, forward thinking, to say, here, let me be the catalyst that leads us into this next ability for us to be able to utilize these tools. It's a huge gap for businesses.
I think that's exactly right. And I suspect when we look back, we will, as we always do, put this technology wave into phases, right? We like to sort of create a narrative where it said we did this, then we did this. And I think that those phases are going to look something at this point like chatbot. And that's where everyone, the masses, gravitated towards. Like, this is incredible. This thing can talk to me. It's a great therapist. It's a great friend. All those use cases. And I think that the second phase that we're kind of is the next one for the masses is connectors. So connectors, meaning connecting to other systems, to other sources of information, to my email, to my calendar, to QuickBooks, to Google Analytics, to see my website traffic. Those things all of a sudden turn this sort of friendly chatbot into something that has a lot more context about important things that I'm trying to solve. And your question, I think, is a good one. Are businesses actually going to utilize this and do something with it? My suspicion is that that's a small enough leap for people who have sort of, sipped the Kool-Aid around, wow, this is a cool chatbot. And maybe even have started asking questions about their businesses that the chatbot itself couldn't do because it didn't have context or connectors.
Right.
Suspicion is that those people will sort of have like, well, this feels like an interesting next step, sort of a moment. And so I think we may be entering. And by the way, MCP was the first kind of a shot across the bow on that, and that actually looks like it might die, which is very interesting. But the connectors as an idea, I think, is probably phase two, or we'll look at it as phase
Yeah, I
two.
mean, it's in the research that Neil and I did, we always, we ask small businesses, among other populations, a whole bunch of questions about their AI usage, adoption, frequency, what are they using it for, what are the barriers, and my sense cumulatively is that small businesses were early adopters relative to other technologies. They're always the ones sort of last to adopt, digital marketing and different kinds of things as a group. This time they were out in front because chatbots are so intuitive, but they reached a plateau. There are always examples we can find that contradict that generalization, but they kind of reached a productivity plateau with it. Okay, I'm doing this and I'm writing emails and I'm maybe writing some social media posts, and they need somebody to kind of take them to the next level. It needs to be facilitated by somebody who simplifies that process, because very few of them are going to configure anything on their own. So this is, ChatGPT did something similar, but I think this is a more solid proposition for them. They need somebody to come in and say, here's how you do it. It's very simple. And once you've got this all connected, here are the use cases for you. And many people will, if they're shown the way, they will definitely embrace that. I mean, we get into the whole conversation about cost and usage and all of that, but that's sort of a secondary discussion. But I think people are hungry for something that allows them to get more out of AI without the complexity of becoming a developer themselves or spending 100 hours trying to figure out MCP uh,
Yeah, server.
functionality. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And actually, I think what you pointed out there is like AI, just like any product, honestly, like it needs a wow moment for somebody to grab onto it, right? And we've all had our wow moments along the way with something that could talk back to us, and then something that could generate an image that we described, and those are among the most wow moments of all wow moments. I think historically, right up there with introduction of the first iPhone, Steve Jobs on stage, like sort of this changes everything kind of a moment. And honestly, connecting your business stuff and having that conversation with a chatbot that's business aware probably is another wow moment. So I think it is one of those things that is likely, more likely than not, to sort of spread in similar ways to the original sort of ChatGPT revolution, the original, like, God, you have to download this. This is incredible.
I was going to take a little bit of a contrarian position on it, in that, as enthusiasts and like futurists ourselves, for me, when ChatGPT came out, I just went straight to the end game, and I was like, oh, Google's in trouble now, right? But Google's not in trouble at all, as we're finding out. And even though the adoption is high for ChatGPT usage or AI usage in general, the question is, how are people using it, and how disruptive really is it? And are people using it in an advanced enough way where it becomes, that kind of internal wow moment at the corporate level, Or is it just sort of like, in silos where people are kind of like experiencing it, they get the wow moment, they go to their colleague and they go, "Hey, check this out." And that person's like, "Yeah, it's not my bag. I'm not doing that." You know? And so, how viral does this become at a practical level? And you hear every one of these companies is saying that AI is going to replace jobs. It's going to replace all these employees. Which, by the way, should that happen, who becomes the buyer of this stuff anyway? Is a very practical question to ask. But is that really the case? Is that, there's so much domain expertise and so much value that people bring to the table that, catastrophizing, the whole employment, workforce and all of this stuff is really good for headlines, but is that a practical go-to-market strategy for businesses? Even though, yes, every business needs to be as efficient as possible, is the adoption curve going to be as high as these CEOs are saying? And I just don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to take a lot longer.
You've just introduced many different things into the conversation.
Well, that's
My
where we
my
are,
my
right? This is
right,
Yeah.
my head is kind of exploding. So, the right way to do this from a corporate perspective would be to say, "Hey, we've got these tools. They're going to make everybody more efficient. Nobody's going to lose their jobs. These will help you get rid of the drudgery of your job so you can focus on more interesting stuff. Here's what the limitations are. Here's what the benefits are. And we'll figure it out together. This is an exciting new technology." That is not what most corporations in the United States have done. So they have created a climate of fear. And they have used AI as a leverage point to control employees.